Christopher Plummer is having one hell of a year, man. First he was in Baby Driver earlier this year, and now he's in All the Money in the World. You're killing it, Christopher Plummer. All the Money in the World is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Williams, and Christopher Plummer as John Paul Getty. And this is the true story of Paul Getty, John Paul Getty's grandson, being kidnapped and forcing John Paul Getty to pay a $17 million ransom. But John Paul Getty's not having it. He's not doing it. He does not want to pay all that money for a grandson. And he just wants to keep his money and go away. But Michelle Williams, his mother, is adamant on getting him out. And Mark Wahlberg is a spy, sort of, to help her out. But he's also working with Getty the whole time. So Getty obviously cares about his grandson's safety, but he just doesn't want to pay all this money. Knowing this was a true story made this movie all the more riveting for me. I didn't really know that much about this story, and I gotta say, I really didn't know where it was heading, and I loved the movie. Ridley Scott does a great job directing this movie. I actually was nervous about this movie because Alien Covenant came out earlier this year, and usually one of the two movies that the director makes two movies in a year, usually one of those movies suffer a little bit and it's kind of lacking. But I gotta say, this is the better one this year. Alien Covenant is not that great, but All the Money in the World is awesome. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Now obviously you know the controversy. Kevin Spacey got kicked off of this movie and recast Christopher Plummer in the role. I joked about it earlier with Baby Driver. Christopher Plummer, despite only having shot 9 days with this movie, he's in a lot of the movie and he does a phenomenal job with what he's given. I have to just applaud the makeup people, the cinematographer, everybody, the actors, the crew, the director. I have to applaud everybody because I can't believe they managed to reshoot so much of this movie, because there are scenes with Getty that involve a lot of other people, including Michelle Williams, Mark Wahlberg, and some of the supporting players in the movie as well. And it's pretty incredible to see them really turn this around and make the release date, and have the movie feel like a coherent, put together story. Because sometimes with movies like this where you lose an actor, it sort of feels like, you know, jumbled and like using CGI and all that stuff. Obviously Kevin Spacey didn't die, but it always usually comes off a little bit awkward. And I gotta say, this movie doesn't feel awkward at all. I think it is perfect. There's one scene, I think they actually did use green screen in Saudi Arabia, and that one part, thinking back on it, I was like, yeah, that looked a little wonky, but it's the fact that that's the only issue with these reshoots is incredible to me. And with just 9 days of shooting, a Golden Globe nomination, Christopher Plummer did a great job here, and I'm thrilled that they managed to turn this around. Michelle Williams is also amazing in this movie. I wasn't expecting to like her as much as I did in this movie, but I loved her. Mark Wahlberg falls into his Mark Wahlberg-isms, but it didn't take me out of the movie that much. I don't really think he can play... I love Mark Wahlberg as an actor, but sometimes he doesn't really challenge himself in these movies, and I don't think he's... Every time I see these movies, I think, oh, that's Mark Wahlberg. That's not this character. And the story overall, I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know if he was going to pay the money. And you kind of start to see, like, a reason for Getty not to pay the money. You start thinking, I'm not going to spoil it here, but you start thinking, like, wow, yeah, he's making some good arguments here, and I can't deny that. But obviously you want to see everybody be okay at the end, so you want him to pay the money and just shut up because he has all the money in the world. So the movie looks a little bit... I don't really like the way the movie looks, to be honest. I don't really like the way it's lit. It looks kind of like it was like dipped in something, and it just looks like wet and kind of like an ugly like color. I don't know, that was just me, but it was fine. It was fine. I really enjoyed All the Money in the World. I thought it was a really amazing true story, and it made me want to do more research afterwards and see what Getty was really like in real life, and if all this stuff actually happened or if it was fake or what. I wanted to look it up afterwards, and that's really what these movies have to do for me, because if I want to know more, then they did a great job. So, did you guys see All the Money in the World? Comment down below, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.